Hi, and welcome to the book reading Orgasmic Blueprint, tools for pleasure, desire, and consent for individuals, couples, and intimacy professionals. So we did the reading yesterday about the noticing and meaning map, and today I will read about the window of tolerance and what it means to kind of being in the comfort zone, being safe, or being stuck in the comfort zone, or avoiding anything that is not being alive. So the window of tolerance is an interesting dynamic, and I will share a map as well, and there's a video in the description. So let's begin. The window of tolerance for personal growth. Your comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. It's an unknown quote. The window of tolerance is where we can engage in being social with one another in our day-to-day encounters and function most effectively. Here we are in the familiar realm of our comfort zone. So we are calm, cool, collected, and connected. And within this space of relaxed consciousness, you have the ability to soothe yourself via emotional self-regulation. It's possible to think rationally, reflect, express yourself clearly, and make choices and decisions calmly without feeling overwhelmed or withdrawn in response to the demands of everyday life. However, this feeling of safety can easily get shaken by events that push us out of our comfort zone. And this happens whenever you experience anything distressing or de-stressing. This can be due to a present threat or originates from a limbic system subconscious memory state, and can be a trigger connected to a past experience. In both cases, your nervous system responds in an effort to take care of you. So when we leave the comfort zone of our window of tolerance, we can enter dysregulation. And this can be a nervous system state like hyperarousal, where we have a fight or flight response, or a hypoarousal, where we go into shutdown. Hyperarousal is often associated with hypervigilance and feeling of anxiety, pain, overwhelm, racing thoughts, emotional outburst, anger, being reactive, aggressive, obsessive, compulsive behavior, rigidity, and impulsivity. This sympathetic nervous system is active in the state of danger. Hypoarousal is associated with emotional numbness, emptiness, and paralysis. Here we disassociate and disconnect, and the parasympathetic nervous system state of shutdown is active in the state of danger and threat to life. Both of these stages, being beyond our range of tolerance, hinder the ability to be mindful in the present moment, meaning within these states we can no longer make rational choices. This is largely due to cortisol excess inhibiting in the hippocampus function and diminished function of the limbic brain, which is involved in symbolization and contextualization. Awareness of the fear response. When we experience fear, we tend to either fuck everything and run, or face everything and recover. So in truly dangerous situations, fear response helps us to, again, in truly dangerous situations, the fear response helps us to survive. And the problem is also we are evolved a great deal since the time we lived in caves. The amygdala hasn't really adapted to our modern environment. And back in the past, it was necessary to be hyper-vigilant, let's call it that way, to constantly check the environment for danger to ensure survival, to be able to fight or run away. Nowadays, life isn't usually this intense, but the amygdala still functions in the same way. It overacts the situations that aren't necessarily dangerous, but ones that trigger socially or psychologically embarrassed thing or painful emotions. I can call this false evidence that appears in real. Have you ever felt your pulse racing during a job interview? Felt the fighter in your rear up when someone cuts off your car in traffic? Felt like running when you have to speak in public, and where any of the situations really a danger to is to survival? About a decade ago, I had an experience that taught me something simple yet profound: to focus my fear where the actual danger is. This was the first step in moving towards expressing my emotions in real time. So instead of allowing my imagination to run away with me, which triggered my emotions to do the same, while fear is almost always fed by the imagination and somewhat illusionary, danger is very real. And it's important to focus on what is real so that you can respond appropriately. So if we don't, we get caught up in our imagination, which can make the situation much more threatening than it actually is. The situation that gave me this insight began on a sunny day in the middle of a tantric journey into sexual liberation. As part of this awakening, one of the ways I'd chosen to challenge myself was to allow myself to feel sexual while outside in nature. And on this particular day, my partner and I were sunbathing in the archipelago outside of Stockholm, where I live actually right now. So we were naked, very relaxed, and facing a little rock formation towards the water, not far from where the big ferries from Stockholm passed by towards the Baltic Sea. So we both began to get aroused, although didn't intend to having sex, and we were just enjoying each other's playfulness, and time slipped by. And then suddenly I noticed that one of these big ferry liners, which had been sailing in the distance, was coming towards us relatively quickly. At the same time, I noticed the little fear response in my body. Discomfort at the thought of being seen naked and aroused. Nevertheless, I choose to stay there naked, feeling my sensual sensation, while at the same time observing the fear rising within me. The moment the ferry got really close, I choose to close my eyes, and I wanted to hide and investigate my shame, fear, and embarrassment. I visualized people standing on the railing pointing towards me, a person of ridiculously indulging and inappropriate behavior, naked and sexual out there in the open. And I started to panic. This inner vision became so overwhelming, scary, that I wanted to jump up and run away. So when I opened my eyes, I saw the real facts. Not one person was on the deck of the ferry. No one was looking or pointing a finger towards us. It was then I realized the inappropriateness of my emotional response, and the entire situation had been dreamed up by me. It came from my internal homemade conditioned response to perceived danger. So I choose to face everything and recover. Or can you really having a similar experience at some point in your life? So states of dysregulation create an overall sense of discomfort and vulnerability, which makes us feel unsafe and exposed. And over time, the nervous system begins to perceive danger more readily in our window of tolerance narrow. This is the survival strategy of the nervous system to protect us from possible and diverse threatening situations. And so when the window of tolerance narrows, we become imbalanced, and our ability to make choices in a conscious and calm manner decreases. By expanding our willow of tolerance. By expanding our window of tolerance rather than just returning into it, you increase your sense of calm and overall well-being, which enables you to deal with stressors in a more adaptive way. So how do you expand your window of tolerance? Without hyper or hypoarousal, we stay within the window of tolerance. Here we go again, the willow. when you stay within it, so you don't learn to expand it. So we neither thrive nor evolve. So when you know where the edges of feeling comfortable are in any given situation, you can expand your window of tolerance while feeling relatively safe. So there is a field of learning just at the edge of the window of tolerance, just before leaving and entering the realms of hyper or hypoarousal, where we are able to dysregulate and then self-regulate back to our comfort zone. So it's important to have experience of different neurological stages and to know the responses of the limbic system, so the emotional body. So when we can understand how dysregulation and self-regulation feel and recognize each as they happen. Here is the map of the window of tolerance, again totally overexposed. Okay, this is not very cool. Anyway, I think you can see it now somehow. Window of tolerance. So there's a video right now here coming, a link coming to a video of the window of tolerance, and I hope you enjoy watching that. And then you can go from that video back here to the reading, or you just watch it later, whatever you like. So, do you remember when we talked about following the pull and how it feels different to have a push? Have you ever felt the dysregulation of your body when you pushed yourself to do something, also you felt the situation was too much and you actually needed to withdraw? Have you felt that? Okay, here's a little video I would like to put in right now. I'm so excited to take a moment and share with you my de-armoring and sexual empowerment coaching certification. This program has been around for almost 10 years and is my highest offering. Sexual wellness is forecasted to be a $125 billion industry by 2026. Why? Because Tantra is booming like yoga 20 years ago, and people are more ready than ever to express their sexuality, build deeply connected relationships, and have the most outrageous orgasms and erotic experience of their lives. However, most people are never taught how to do any of this, how to have extraordinary relationships and the sex that they really crave. They're looking for qualified, confident professionals to teach them. So my de-armoring and sexual empowerment coaching certification is a powerful one-year professional program that helped many coaches become incredibly successful and highly paid professionals. This program doesn't just train you in every aspect of the coaching process so that you can build a successful online business. This coaching also walks you through the personal transformation of a lifetime, because the best coaches have done their work themselves. And on top, I show you all the tech secrets how to create a thriving online business. But first and foremost, you'll discover transformative techniques like the empowerment tools, meditation practices, and pleasuring pathway that you'll apply to your own life first. Then you use all the same proven tools and techniques to get laser-focused results for your clients. We also hold an exclusive de-armoring training just for our coaching students and alumni every year. In this training, you'll experience a 10-day of live teaching with other teachers and me, refining your skills as a de-armoring and sexual empowerment coach. So, if you feel the call to claim your spot in this multi-billion-dollar industry and transform not only your own life, but the life of many others around the world, get on the waiting list now at somaticarrows.com/empowerment coaching, and I love to see you there and welcome you. All right, so have you ever taken yourself out of a situation that felt unsafe, and by doing so were able to ground yourself again? Maybe you left the scene to go to the bathroom for a walk, and choose moments alone, were able to return to calmness, and this is self-regulation. Have you ever experienced a pull, excited about trying out something that feels daring, but safe enough to take a quantum leap into the unknown and possible transformation. This is what I mean to have one foot on the window of tolerance while you expand your comfort zone. So my younger sister once invited me to go parachuting with her. So she was quite advanced, having already jumped over 100 times. Also, I was scared to death. I didn't want to admit it and soon found myself on a plane 4,000 meters above ground level. When the time came to jump like a lamb being led to the slaughter, I followed the instructor to the open hatch. And before jumping, I remembered looking at my sister and needing to prove my bravery, said, "Everything is fine, don't be scared." When I jumped, I felt numb. When the parachute opened, I nearly passed out. And when I landed, I was close to shitting myself. It was the worst experience I ever had. That was definitely a push. Years later, on a road trip in New Zealand, I saw a sign for the highest bungee jump bridge in the country, and the plain jump memory flashed before my eyes. Immediately felt butterflies in my stomach, tingling feet and sweaty hands, but I also felt an urge to try it without a fake bravado. I felt like doing something exciting just for myself. So when it was my time to jump then, the instructor told me I had to count down from 5 and jump on 0, and I told him I wanted to do it in a different way, to wait until I felt the impulse to jump, and we agreed on a maximum of 5 minutes. It was quite long. I remembered standing there and feeling the push of the pressure to jump. Simultaneously, I also began to feel a pull and to find myself to impulses to want to jump. So it was the first time I'd consciously noticed the pull and the push within my nervous system and how differently they feel. I began to feel the joy of excitement as I followed the pull, and the push from the instructor blended into the background. The cocktail of fear and joy propelled me towards. I felt the impulse to walk to the edge and several hundred meters over the riverbed, and in what seems like slow motion, I chose to jump in the moment. It felt right. And that was the pull. Within the professional context, there are many incidences of clients coming to me of a push instead of a pull. And over the last few years, many women have come to sessions believing that something within them was broken. Some felt the pressure to heal through cervical de-armoring, having heard claims from others via self-help groups that every woman needs it. Following the push of group pressure, they assumed they needed it too, so to get fixed and also belong to the club. Whenever this seemed the case, that they were there due to a push, I refused to cervical work, offering instead an empowerment session so that they could learn to choose what they really wanted. Some became angry with me, feeling disappointed due to my unfulfilled expectations of me doing the right thing. And others agreed to the empowerment session, where many realized that they didn't in fact want their cervix touched at all and felt hugely relieved to own that fact. So I recognize a real pull when clients come from a very vulnerable place, asking for help and close to tears, perhaps having difficulties reaching orgasm, like a program, or feeling numb. They say words of the effect of, "I'm scared, but I really want to do this to get my power back." They are often also afraid of receiving a cervical session from a male practitioner, very centered in their vulnerability, choosing every step of the session. Okay, going for that one. Welcome, gentlemen. You have mastered the art of pleasure, but you're not the type to settle for the ordinary, right? You're after the extraordinary. You're not just driving a car in life, you want the Tesla experience in every aspect, especially in your intimate relationships and your sexuality. So it's not about dissatisfaction, it's about exploring deeper. You know greatness, now you seek to be the best. More presence, more connection, not just reaching a goal, but transforming it. Perhaps you have heard about Tantra and feel intrigued by its promises, but what does it truly offer? Imagine not just giving your partner moments of pleasure, but leading them into an ecstatic state and keeping them there, an orgasmic state of being for both of you. I understand the subtleties that make good great. For over 20 years, I've guided men like you to deepen their understanding, to discover what lies beyond the climax. So to take private sessions with me that will put you right on target what you want to achieve, instead of wasting hundreds of hours in workshops and online courses, even though they can be fun and they are great. So if you are ready to explore these profound possibilities, I'm here to guide you. So let's redefine what pleasure can mean to you. So reach out for a free discovery call on this link here, and let's embark on this journey to endless contentment. Your extraordinary is waiting. See you on the call. All right, here we are again with the window of tolerance. So the last two parts of it is self-regulation and trauma release. So trauma is a fact of life. It does not, however, have to be a life sentence. It's a quote from Peter A. Levine, the founder of Somatic Experiencing. So the body is miraculous. We all have a tremendous capacity to self-regulate from a state of shock and shutdown back to sympathetic mobilization, shown by the arrow in the polyvagal map. I like to illustrate the body's ability of this enormous intelligence with a personal story. When I was 5 years old, I could climb like a little monkey. One day I climbed about 3 meters up into a tree, and I felt very safe and confident until my father saw me and told me to come down, otherwise I might fall. And when I heard his fearful voice, my body suddenly contracted. I felt clumsy and no longer confident. Usually I slid down and sorry, that's just like, I have just like, the memory just came up and I felt felt the pain, what happened. Well, so usually I slid down and jumped the last meter or so within thinking too much about it. But now I was afraid and my nervous system dysregulated to freeze. So my father told me to let go and jump into his arms. In my confusion, I let go without releasing my legs from the tree trunk and slid down and badly ripping the skin on my inside of my legs and groin. And there was a lot of blood, and I spent the next week lying flat on my back with my legs spread widely open. And it took a long time to heal, and I couldn't walk properly for weeks afterwards. A childhood miscap I've forgot all about until a lover asked me where I got the scars from. Oh my God, just like thinking of that, just like this was not a good experience. At the beginning of my tantric journey, I did a lot of yoga, and due to the pain it induced, always had a problem with the butterfly pose, lying on the back with the knees to the sides and feet together. Soon after my lover had mentioned the scars, I decided to try it again, and this time relaxing into whatever came up. And I held the position for about 15 minutes and then closed my knees. And at this point, my entire lower body began to shake involuntarily like an earthquake. Instead of freaking out, I just let it happen while observing the process, and during which all the memories, pain, and emotions from the tree accident came up. So I allowed my body to shake and the emotions to surface. Relaxing in the butterfly pose had led to a kind of metamorphosis, leaving my body feeling wonderful, intrigued, and did some research to figure out what happened. And I soon came across something that calls TRE, tension, trauma, and release exercise. And this exercise assists the body to produce involuntary impulses, a self-regulating mechanism via the brain stem, which releases deep muscular patterns of stress, tension, and trauma. And I later met the developer of TRE. I had a private session with him to went on to complete the instructor training. I will point a link to that video about TRE that I'm teaching as well in my work, and you might have some benefits from that. It's really great stuff. Sometime later, while Kodoshka retreat, I felt Again, crushing my pelvis on the edge of a pool. That was even worse. That was really horrible. The impact was intense, and luckily I didn't break anything, but the pain was excruciating. People ran towards me screaming, my screams, and wanted to help my calling an ambulance, and remembered repeating over and over, please don't touch my body, let it do what it needs to do, I will be fine, while flipping and shaking on the ground like a fish out of water for about 30 minutes. It must have looked weird and a little scary. After the intense tremors, I had subsided, my body gave a deep sigh. I lay there for a few moments and then stood up and walked to my room, and I successfully self-regulated my nervous system from a state of shock, so dorsal vagal to mobilization. So this mechanisms that shakes the body belongs to all mammals, including us humans, and is profound in its ability to so slow a little bit down, Mr. Matt. To transform trauma. Long-term emotional suppressions leads to excess energy being trapped in our bodies, resulting in chronic physical tension and mental distress. Most mammals don't get post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. This is what trauma therapist Peter Levine in his book Waking the Tiger is writing. This is because they release tension in their bodies automatically, immediately. You may have seen your pets doing this from time to time, shaking as they stretch. There are two instances where conditioning results in unlearning this response to release tension. One of them is found in civilized humans like us, and the other one in caged animals. So we humans, however, tend to try controlling this natural urge to shake off tension, and in an attempt to remain looking calm and composed. And this means the tension remains trapped in our bodies. So you can self-regulate more easily and return to your window of tolerance by being mindful to your physical sensations as they happen and voicing how you feel in the moment. So we'll talk about that more soon in this section, the numbness bar. So co-regulation and trauma release. Immobilization without fear is what we call intimacy. All our defenses are gone when we hold each other and are near each other. We don't need words because our bodies conform and we feel safe with each other. It's a quote from the author Stephen Porges of the polyvagal theory. To widen your window of tolerance and co-regulation with another person, you need to cultivate the sense of safety within your nervous system. So you can do this by being tuned into the direct route and playfully engaging within others. Engaging with the. Okay, somebody's calling. I decline that. The process of co-regulation in regard to past trauma guides you to the. I read that paragraph again. To widen your window of tolerance and co-regulation with other person, you need to cultivate a sense of safety within your nervous system. So you can do this by being tuned into the direct route and playfully engage with the others using the engagement zones. And so this process creates intimate and genuine connections. So training your nervous system over time to have a much higher capacity to adapt when challenging situations occur, so that it remains in balance. The process of co-regulation in regard to past trauma guides you to the states of the right side of the window of tolerance map before it comes to any kind of action. So we create an agreement about time, space, what's going to happen, who is the one doing and who is it for, as well as other relevant parameters. So then we can engage and as part of the agreement, go beyond the window of tolerance, which the other, so that each person can learn to self-regulate back into their comfort zone. When clients come to the first session, I can often sense their nervousness and insecurity due to uncertainty about what will happen. It's vital to address this nervous system state and to establish an environment of safety before anything else takes place. So I usually invite them to choose one of the 2 available chairs before sitting down and engaging in a very casual way, and then encourage them to express how they feel in their body at that moment, describing any sensations they notice. And when someone is very dysregulated, I invite them to take part in a short breathing exercise utilized by Stephen Porges. So we then breathe together, exhale longer than the inhale, intentionally exhaling to the end of the out-breath until the inhaling impulse occurs by itself. The inhale is accompanied by any sound that feels natural to them. I do the same, sighing out loud on the exhale together, and this simple process stimulates the parasympathetic complex and is a very effective practice to co-regulate the nervous system. So following this, the most effective mechanism I have observed to gain a sense of embodied safety is to practice feeling an object with the hands. So when feeling pleasure with the hands, oxytocin is released, which even in a group situation leads to such relaxation within the nervous system that people can fall asleep. So when working with a client one-on-one, this exercise helps them to drop so deeply into their body that all nervousness dissolves. So what kind of experiences have you had when confronted with fear, and how did your body react? It doesn't have to be an extreme experience. An example might be if someone you don't feel comfortable with asking if they can hug you. This could trigger fear in one form or the other. So when you're aware of the process, why they were happening, or did they feel automatic? Were you aware of the process, why they were happening, or did you feel automatic? So were you able to self or co-regulate? How did you do that, or how did others help you to do that? If your base is intact and you're fully conscious of your internal processes, you will be able to notice the warning signs of fight, flight, and threat of shutdown, acknowledge your inability to say no, and either self or co-regulate. Oh God, that was quite a long read, half an hour in. Thank you for being here today. Next reading is about the numbness bar. And please like and subscribe if you haven't done so you get a notification for the next live stream, so that you can join if you want to. If you totally think I suck and my reading is really bad, what might be true, feel totally welcome to get the hard copy or the paperback on Amazon. You find the link in the description. And if you have any comments or any questions that I have asked here, you would like to answer them at any point, feel totally welcome and free to write them in the comments of the video, not in the comments, in the section, yeah, in the comments. And I will personally answer them. So thanks again for being here and joining today. Love yourself, and love to see you the next time. All right, take care.